Welcome to Bouncing Thoughts.
Yes, it's a new thing that I want to do with my friends and my family and random strangers. Just conversations, but the way that we have conversations, or I have conversations, where it's no small talk.
We get straight to it.
Straight to it, and sometimes bouncing between subjects. At least my brain does.
Like people with ADHD.
Like, maybe.
Undiagnosed.
I'm sure a lot of people that follow me feel the same way. And when I follow, I mean my friends, okay?
Thank you, producer.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you. This is Erica, one of my best friends. Crystal, for those who don't know me. And
Our beautiful host.
Thank you. Today's topic is gonna be music. Not a single lesson in music, just random things about music. What do you think we should start with?
What's the first song you remember listening to as a child? Either lullaby, radio, what was it that you can recollect?
My mom singing. It was Christian lullabies. Basically, it'd be a verse from the Bible, but she made it a song. So, yeah.
Which is funny because of the what was it? The
influence. Oh, how it's more
article.
loving.
The article
yes.
with the first mine as well. Actually, I think the first song I remember was my mother singing Amazing Grace to me as a child to go to sleep at
A
night.
little spiritual too.
Rooted. But yeah, it was actually a lullaby. The way she sang.
My mom has a beautiful voice. Actually, everybody in my family sings except me. I mean, I sing as well, but not well. That doesn't stop me. But talking about childhood, I guess, me and Erica a few days ago, which is actually what brought the idea to make this podcast about this. We were just showing each other old songs because I think you didn't like Katy Perry.
I was, besides for I Kissed a Girl and what was that other one that she did? Not memorable for me.
Paper.
No, not even that one.
It's not called Paper. Firework.
Nope. Didn't like that song either. It was that one. Oh,
Hot and Cold.
Hot and Cold.
Yeah.
Yes. Those were the two very popular songs, and those are the only two songs that I really liked about her. And I remember I Kissed a Girl, I first heard it on the bus in high school or middle school. And I heard that song and I was like, it was just so catchy. I went home and my mom was like, what?
I was also singing it, but I don't think that I knew back then that I was bi, you know what I mean?
Oh, I knew from childhood, girl. My little boyfriends and girlfriends knew each other. Sadly, I was in kindergarten and my boyfriend left me for my girlfriend.
He heard the song. Gotta move this from our producer. Okay.
Keeping it in a mug.
Well, I really resonated with Katy Perry growing up, as well as Lady Gaga. Who else was like that vibe? Pink, even though she was more rockish.
I liked Pink when she was almost like R&B hip hop, like early 2000s. You know, with
I liked
the
her angry
pokey
face.
hair and the low rise.
I liked
G-strings.
it. I liked it. My mom had a
vibe.
face where she cut her hair like her. Yeah. I mean, it didn't look the same because my mom has wavy hair. So it
And
never
I'm trying
looked
to
the
picture
same.
her with a pink haircut.
And no. She cut it like it.
Yeah,
she
that's
never
what I'm
dyed
saying.
it. Oh, right. The artist's name is Pink. Word for it. Who else?
Let me think. You know, my early love of music, and I get judged for this all the time, and I will take this judgment because I still love it, was country music.
I grew up in Puerto Rico. Cannot say the same.
I grew up in like where I was born, I was more so around hip hop and reggaeton and salsa, merengue. Like I grew up with that kind of music. But the music that cause I was always listening to music, right? I always had a radio. I always had like headphones in. So to fall asleep, I needed music. And I would always turn to this one station that was Delilah, and she would play like soft rock hits. And when her station would go out, I would listen to the country music station, and I knew those songs by heart. Like, man, you know, when everything falls apart on them, I was like 3 years old, 4 years old, singing those songs like with my whole heart. Like I felt what they were feeling. Like those emotions rang true to me. Never went through any of those experiences.
They are usually heartfelt songs.
And those are the ones that I really only like. Because, you know, country music can be very honky-tonk and like, you know, like Dirt Road,
and trucks,
Shake It Girl. Yeah, I used to love.
Which are all true, but come from somewhere.
Like all music has, like a lot of music has a basis of what they really talk about, more so that they're celebrated with and they appease to the majority of the people that listen to it. I was a big fan of She Thinks My Tractor's Sexy.
The song, I don't know the song, but that title, you know what I mean?
That was probably the only like more upbeat. But I've always in my lifetime listened to more softer music, and there are a lot of people that listen to like their preferences of more like upbeat music, more hard or like rougher music. I was just a very like soft, emotional individual.
That's beautiful.
As a
because
child.
I was not. Right, and it shows how music is directly connected to how we feel. Because unfortunately, even though I think that I wanted to be a soft child, my environment and the stuff that was going on just in life in general were not soft, and I didn't feel safe expressing my emotions. And I think that that's why I really gravitated towards rock, because, you know, unfortunately, now looking back, it would make up my parents upset, which, you know, teenage and younger Crystal wanted. I have grown and healed. But the lyrics, like, it really shows where a person was, or I was mentally. Like, I really, really liked Scars by Papa Roach.
Yes.
Last Resort by Linkin Park. Wait, that's Papa Roach too.
Yes. I hate
In
you.
the end, I Hate Everything About You by 3 Days Grace. Pretty much all of 30 Seconds to Mars. I really, really, really vibe with 30 Seconds to Mars. And I still do, but you know, it's not my go-to music anymore, because as you transition through life, your music taste will too, even though there will be days, or I have days, where I go back and put like 30 minutes of just 30 Seconds to Mars, or just scream in the car.
But that also speaks to how your mindset changes, because certain music appeases to a certain mindset, right? And that just goes to show that in the beginning you had like a very probably like angry mindset towards everything that was going on, right? As you've gotten older and you've dealt with problems. Yeah. But as you've gotten older and you've dealt with certain things, you've probably like healed some of that anger. Because even I've noticed, like, we've been friends for a while. You've had a sense of peace to you, right?
Yes.
Like, I remember I introduced you to a lot of like
soft music.
I
remember sitting in your car, and genuinely, I think we were on our way to Melbourne, like to the beach or something. I was in your car, and she definitely had put that music around me before, but this exact car ride, I just remember really in my body, like feeling the speaker on the side of the door and just being like, wow, what is this music? Like, what is this? I don't know if I had never heard it before, but it's definitely the first time that I connected with it. And I saw how you were vibing with it, and I was like, that's how I want to feel. Because the music that I gravitated towards, unfortunately, was very sad and angry music. And not that, for example, R&B has sad music and has songs that express those emotions as well, but in a softer way. And you definitely started that journey for me into soft music. And eventually I started listening to it in Spanish, and I discovered TikTok. TikTok is such a great place for information. Listen, I know it's good to laugh, but like, search your problems on it. You'll be surprised the amount of people that have your same problems. Anyway, that was a side note.
You go on TikTok to get away from your problems. People want to disappear from their issues and laugh. I don't want to go on there and spend 45 minutes crying. I at least need a couple giggles in between, wipe a tear and giggle.
Depends on the day, but you're right. But there are certain,
No, but I agree.
I think that I used to live in there's this English teacher that I had named Miss Pontillo. If you ever watch this, Miss Pontillo, just know that you had such a great influence in my life.
Shut up.
But we were reading some book, and she was talking about how ignorance is bliss. And I think that I really attached to it. If you don't know better, you don't do better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
you can't be better.
The less then you can't be better. And the less you know, the less it hurts and blah, 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 blah. But I believe now, Crystal, and relating to music and what I input into my body and mind, you have to, knowledge is power. The same way that ignorance is bliss, it is bliss, but knowledge is power. And do you want to be blissful and just let life happen to you, or do you want to be powerful and take the reins of your life? That's a hard choice to make. And I didn't realize the switch in a lot of habits, like music or what I read or what I watched on TikTok. Because the first time I started watching TikTok was around quarantine, because I used to work with some kids and they were always harassing me to get it, but I didn't want to waste my time. Yeah, okay, I was definitely wasting my time and other things. And there was nothing else to do. We got TikTok, and it was only fun. It was only the funny videos. It was only the trends, or wanting to do the dances with my friends. And that was great, and it is great. I think it's beautiful to express yourself, but it's a tool. You can really relate to people on TikTok. Right?
Anything.
YouTube, I feel it is very informational, but unless you're watching someone's long ass 30-minute blog of something, you can't learn a lot. You know what I mean? Or relate to a lot, unless you really fuck with that person. But on TikTok, you're just scrolling, you see a 7-second video, fuck. That's what I went through this morning.
But we're also in kind of a state in our generation where our attention spans are a lot shorter.
Yes.
We don't want to spend 30 minutes or 10 minutes. We don't want to, remember when internet, you had to see that thing load, and if it took 5 minutes to
and
load,
it made the loud noise.
you're oh wow, that was 10 minutes, it was so fast. But now, if
you're hitting the 10 seconds back on the video to let it buffer.
And now we're if I press load, and I even get that little, I don't even want to see the dots.
Video.
I don't even want to see the dots. It's not for me. And we've kind of instant gratification, which is TikTok, why it's become so popular too. With YouTube, you can see reels and stuff like that. You can see videos and learn, but you have to focus on it. With TikTok, I see people, they're on TikTok and they're having conversations. They're on TikTok and they're socializing. You don't see many people sitting down, reading, watching a YouTube video, having a conversation with their friends, unless they're engaging in it together.
Yeah.
But TikTok is you're on TikTok, I'm on TikTok. We've had
I hate this conversation, 7 seconds of dopamine.
Right?
Just keep the
or it's haha, or you send it back and forth to each other, or you're showing it to each other, and you're in the same room. People aren't even having aren't even wasting their breath to say,
look at this one. No, I said, check your phone.
Yeah, I sent you 35 TikToks. Damn, you've been here for 20 minutes. Yeah, catch up.
I am definitely a serial TikTok sender. I I'd be
I too.
scrolling and I'm like, share, like, especially the hard ones, like the ones that like,
Hit
you did not want to hear it, like I am gonna send it to you because I wish someone would send it to me when they see it, and I appreciate when people send it to me. So if you ever watch a video and think of me in any kind of way, like literally any kind of way, send it to me. I will, one, know what you think of me. And two, reflect on why you think that of me. Like,
And do I really
if
care?
I think it's just your opinion, like, oh well, thank you, you know what I mean? But I will have that moment of self-reflection, be like,
Is there some truth to this?
you know?
It's their truth, but is it my truth?
Yeah. And then it's so interesting the side of TikTok you're on. Have you heard of that?
Ooh, I'm on. I shouldn't say that. Let me not. But my TikTok is very healing because I send you some stuff that really calls out my feelings and like my situation or my life. Like there are some things that,
because that's where you are in life.
yeah, like there's like that algorithm, algorithming.
And be careful with it because it's so personalized that you think that it's like I
Like those
still call it the TikTok
readers.
gods, bro.
Like those tarot card readers.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
but it's an algorithm at the end of the day. Don't forget that.
And it's not always for you. Don't feed up into that delusion.
Yeah, let it enlighten you, but like in all the right ways. Like don't
Like that saying, take it with a grain of salt.
yes.
And a lime if you need to. Sometimes it hurts. Grain of salt and a lime.
But dang. Talking about the instant gratification, I'm gonna use that to go back to this.
notes.
Yes, I did notes, guys. Because I have scatterbrain, so I need, you know.
I brought me
No,
myself
but
an eye.
you bring me inspiration. She'll say one thing and I'm like,
Bounce.
yes, bouncing thoughts. Okay.
You have such nice handwriting.
Thank you. So music. I've never really talked in front of a camera, guys, so cut me some slack. It will get better. But it affects 5 main areas of your brain. And if you didn't know this, I'm sure you do because all of you people are very smart and beautiful. Each part of your brain is responsible for something different, right? So the temporal lobe, which I'm sure most of you know from lobotomies, right? That surgery that made people zombies and shit. That is known as your language center. Sorry about my English today. Why do you think music is important to your temporal lobe, Erica?
Language?
Yeah, it's your language center.
Language center. I guess it feeds into, well, I'm uneducated in this field, so this is just my educated guess. This is my.
This is a casual conversation.
Yeah.
Do not take this as any kind of medical or
I am
professional
not a
advice.
PhD. I do not have a PhD. I am not a practicing doctor. You cannot sue me for this information.
Disclaimer.
I guess in my opinion, when I think of like language, it's the words. So you know how each culture has a different use of words, right? So I think there's a tribe or something. Look it up. I think there's a tribe that doesn't use like past tense or something like that. So their thoughts are always on the current or either like future, right? I think
Insert light bulb.
So I think the way language works is it builds it builds your vocabulary, the music that you listen to. It builds the words, like the more common words that you use. So if you're hearing a lot of songs that are self-deprecating or is celebrating you have more, that's your go-to of what you use in your everyday conversations as well.
Or like a free sexuality, like all you
Yeah,
listen
so
to
if
is
you're-
go have sex, go
yeah,
have sex.
if
You're gonna
you're
go have
listening
sex,
to-
baby.
Yeah, if you're listening to like
I'm not
very
gonna go do it, but-
soft, loving music, you might be in a more soft, loving sex. If you're listening to like more rougher sexual
More
music,
hurricane by 30 seconds
yeah,
to
more
Mars.
kinky, it might be a little kinkier. You might be
Yeah.
a little
Words
more
matter.
on top of the vanilla, which is nothing wrong with vanilla. Vanilla goes with everything. But with that vanilla, you might be adding some chocolate syrup, some strawberries,
Some latex.
a little latex with your ice cream. Delicious. Not a good cleanup.
From that note, listen to the lyrics and the music that you gravitate towards. Like, really listen to it, not just because it makes you feel good. It's gonna give you some insight into yourself. That's the takeaway from that, okay? Maybe. The amygdala. So this is the emotional switchboard.
I feel like I remember some of this from our psychology class.
Yeah. You remember that teacher?
Yes,
I love that bitch. I have a reference to her. So the emotional switchboard. Obviously, we're not professional here. These are short term from what are really complicated things in your head. But music, amygdala, you know, music is emotion, right? Like that's why when we're going through a rough time, we listen to sad music. Why when we're going through a breakup, we listen to Adele or Sam Smith, you know? Like, music is emotion, so it makes complete sense that the amygdala would be involved, and I think it goes into the bigger picture that everything is connected, which is something that I really believe in and have been hounding into my life lately, as Erica knows. So it's nice to see like the emotional side, but also like the scientific side almost. Like, of course you're into that music. Like, it makes you feel good. Regardless of what that is, because everybody is gonna be made feel good by completely different things.
But also I will say what I've noticed is people that listen to music that have a wide variety of like emotions, right? Where they listen to music, some sad music even when they aren't sad, or they listen to happy music even when they aren't happy. They listen to music that can build a sense of rage. They listen to music that like explains like frustrations and stuff. They tend to have a better understanding of their own emotions.
Yep.
And I think that's also because when you're able to focus on the idea that you have more than one emotion, and you can feel more than one emotion at a time. And majority of the time you do. Like, some things can make you happy and sad at the same time.
Duality.
And there is a duality to it. You
Yin,
can
yang,
feel
people,
a wide range. It's all connected. And you need, but also how I always say, sometimes you need that good emotion to help you understand where that bad emotion came from, or you need that bad emotion to appreciate the good emotions coming. You know, so when you listen to music that is all encompassing of how you feel, you tend to have a deeper connection to your own emotions as well. People that don't listen to a wide variety of music, like they don't really listen to sad music, they only listen to certain like happy or sexual music.
It's almost like a stuck mind.
Yeah, like people like that, you sometimes don't feel comfortable being very, and I hate to say this, not that I hate, but like I just like saying this,
personal
with a lot of men.
Yeah.
With a lot of men, they listen to a certain kind of music,
and that's it. That's their sometimes even to the point where like that's their personality.
That's all that their personality encompasses, right? But you notice some men that listen to a softer tone of music, they have, there's something about them.
We appreciate you, men that what is it? They're diversified.
Yes, if you have a diversified playlist, what's your Spotify?
You're welcome.
Like, I also need you to listen to some Lady Gaga too. I want you popping it.
Yeah. Oh, when you're around people like that, you really like want to connect to and like know about them, like know who they are as a person. Like, let them show you their music. Like, literally let them show you their music. Like, ask your best friend what was their favorite song when they were 15. And that's gonna tell you their whole high school experience.
That's a love language though. Yeah. Sharing music is a love language.
Yes. So,
and not just romantic.
You know, and it takes 2 seconds. Like, send me some music. I love when my friends send me music. And sometimes I fuck with it. Sometimes I don't fuck with it. But like,
you're like, oh, that's what
I like. First of all, understanding them and understanding where they are in life. And they're diversifying, because sometimes I didn't even know that music existed. Like, at all.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Where's this been in my life?
TikTok also helps with that. Okay, let me stop plugging TikTok. Next one, let's see.
They're not paying the bills.
The frontal lobe. Wait, did I say frontal lobe earlier or temporal?
You said temporal. You're going down
Okay.
the list because we did amygdala, so now we're on the frontal lobe.
Okay, so let me correct myself and say that the lobotomies are from the frontal lobe, and I am so sorry about that. But anyway,
This is why we're not doctors.
yeah, no, this is two best friends talking. This is where we do our thinking and reasoning. This is like the front of your brain. This
Okay.
is why when they remove that, you become like a zombie.
Like what is that?
Yeah,
Where
a bunch of scary
gets,
movies.
It gets no, but also it gets calcified.
I know what
What
you're
is that?
talking
You know
about.
what I'm talking about? It's like the third eye. I forgot. Jeez, I forgot.
I don't know. I
But-
have a question mark. I know what she's like. My body feels it, you know.
You know, like it's on the tip of your
Chakra?
tongue. It's not. Well, I mean, I think there's a chakra right there, but I think it's
You
actual.
said third eye, and it made me think of that.
Yeah, but it's an actual part in your brain that gets calcified as you get older.
Probably.
Right?
Probably.
It gets calcified.
We gotta look into this.
When you're younger, it's not as calcified, right? And it gets calcified by by fluoride and stuff like
Yeah.
that, per se.
Look into it.
Yeah,
There's
but it's
something to be learned
It's right
here.
in the frontal lobe. There's a lot of movies about it too.
I just don't remember right now, but
Me either.
I'm sure.
We're using describing
Yeah.
words.
But yeah, music with reasoning. I think a lot of times it helps us put words to what we're feeling.
Yeah, I
Like-
think so.
Like, and obviously these are all interconnecting, but
Yeah, because you ever have a feeling in you, right? And then somehow like a song comes on and you just like bawl your eyes out.
yeah.
And you're like, wow.
Yeah, and
That's,
it helps you first of all realize how much you're hurt, and in a way that you're not alone. That like you're not the only person in life that
you can relate
feels
to
this way.
someone. You feel connected.
What else? Cerebellum. This is obviously very technical, so ignore that part. But it's what triggers and coordinates your movement, right? So music and movement, right? So there's an actual part in your brain. Like, you've ever heard a song and your foot just starts tapping, or like, you know, you listen to the right salsa song and you go like this.
Them hips don't lie.
Yeah.
Shakira.
Like, it's because there's an actual part in your brain that music triggers. It triggers that movement in you, and I think that's beautiful.
I like that. Like
Yeah.
how like people that freestyle to just a beat.
Yeah.
Like their body just moves.
Yeah, basically their brain takes that wave to a whole nother level.
But also like, so I guess it would be similar. I'm guessing it would be similar to people that have I forget the terminology for this, but they literally they hear music and they see colors.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
so like that part of the
Yes.
brain gets triggered, right? So like you hear music, or also they smell something and they see colors. Like their brain gets, I don't want to say mixed up,
triggers.
because I think that's actually really beautiful.
Yeah.
People that can hear a song and
I think those are true
they
artists.
feel colors. Yeah, like I know for me, there's certain music, like doing, like as a photographer, right? When you have a concept for a music video or for photos, right? And you get an idea.
Like a flash of inspiration.
You get like that. When you like brainstorm it, there's like music that, at least for me,
You should be playing the song that you're gonna do the music video.
yeah,
for.
because that you want to follow that color concept.
At least that's what we do.
You want to follow color theory, right?
Yeah.
But also I feel like some people with certain songs, there's, you know, if it's a sadder tone, you're not gonna put a bunch of like bright red.
Well,
you
yellow,
put
you wouldn't put yellow.
you like yellow kind of signifies more of a happiness,
Yeah.
but it might be a mellow yellow. It might be more blues,
Yeah.
more like
Like at that tone kind of.
yeah, you know, like more
Or like yellow and black is kind of dark.
earthy tones as well. Yeah, exactly. So like your brain kind of relates all of that into a different way. You know,
Yeah.
some people synesthesia.
There's a word for this. I don't know it. We can Google it.
It's something like that.
What is it?
What's the part of the what's the calcified in the frontal lobe?
I'm gonna look it up.
It's like I'm telling you, it's like right where the third eye is.
Condition.
Pause for scientific reasons.
We researching.
Yes, we are researching. What is it? I don't know.
None of it is good.
Jeez.
It says brain tumor, FAR disease.
What do you look calcified?
Frontal lobe. Let's put calcium in the brain.
Let's see her. I got you. Because I feel like I kind of know what I'm supposed to be searching for. See, I should have had all this ready. But these are thoughts that are bouncing.
Basal ganglia calcification is a very rare condition that happens when calcium builds up in your brain. Usually in the basal ganglia, the part of your brain that helps control movement.
There you go, basal.
So it's this part.
Yeah, oh.
But still.
In the frontal lobe, right?
Oof, gotta look out. Get yourselves checked, guys. I know that riding in an ambulance is $2,000 plus, but
the pineal
you are
gland.
worth more.
It's the pineal gland. I knew I'd get it. It's the pineal gland. It's right next to the
appropriate
hypothalamus. Right? The thalamus, hypothalamus.
Oh, I don't know, but I feel like that's a good transition for hippocampus. Do you remember what our high school teacher said about the hippocampus?
The hippopotamus or something?
Yes, you see?
She was good.
I don't remember your name. Miss Stacy?
Miss Stacy.
Miss Stacy.
Shout out Miss Stacy.
I'm 25 now and I still remember you saying that, so you did a good job.
I had you for 2 years in psychology. You taught me a lot.
Yeah, 2
years? 2 years.
Lucky.
Junior and senior year.
Wait. I feel like I didn't have her senior year. I feel like, why? She taught more than one psychology class?
Yeah, psychology 1, psychology 2. 1 and 2.
I still, you inspired me. I went to college for it, so you're good. I did not take you senior year. I took her junior year. She was like a Barbie. I love Barbie.
I always remember her because she was the kind of person, I didn't like to sweat, but she was always like, oh, I love sweating. If I didn't sweat, I didn't have a good run. She's like, I love being out in 100-degree weather, running, sweating. It was like,
we did not share that sentiment. But she was our psychology teacher and she was pretty awesome. And the hippocampus is the memory part of your brain, right? Like the part that deals with memory. And she was like, you'll never forget it if you see a hippo on campus. Get it? Hippocampus.
Wow, you really remember that.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But I'd be in my psychology college class and I'd be like, fucking Miss Stacey. She
God
did
bless
it.
Did it again.
I didn't have to study. She made me remember. Yeah, no. But that's a memory center and I have memory issues. Not deep memory issues, but I have memory issues. So I've always gravitated towards that and I love her for saying hippo on campus. Like, thank you, bitch. She also said some other funny things. Like there's one where it's the pawns, and it controls the movement of your face.
Oh.
And it's like the Pond's cleanser for your face. She said a few things that really stuck with me.
Word association.
But anyway, my point of bringing all the brain stuff into it is that it is directly linked to your brain. Like music activates certain parts of your brain and therefore it's directly linked to healing. So if you want to... Oh my God.
Shout out to the bird. Pay it after.
Okay, pause. Okay, but
it's directly linked to the brain.
Yeah.
And your memory as well.
Yeah, if you just take it as a note to self-look, right? Like, what am I listening to? What is that one song that like I always listen to over and over again? What does it mean for me? And although not everything has to be deep as fuck, there's definitely some songs that like, what is that song? Dicks Out for Harambe. Like, I mean, I guess it's deep in a way, but like, it's on my playlist, you know? But it's because it makes me think of a certain time in my life. Bitch.
That memory.
Yes. Who else uses music to remember? Like, you're going through your playlist and a certain song comes up and you're just a movie playing in your brain of, you know, what you stuck your memory to the song. I don't know if that makes sense.
I think I have more memory. Like, I like certain songs remind me of my youth, but I think my memory really gets triggered by my sense of smell, which is why I'm so.
I have none.
I'm so, like, I even cook food through my nose. You know, like when I walk into a room, I recognize how that room smells. Like when I'm around someone, I recognize how someone smells because that directly affects like my memory. And whenever, even as I've grown up, there's like certain perfumes that I smell that remind me of people that I've only met for like maybe a couple of minutes or so.
But it's not visual for you?
I'm one of those people that I have full on photos in my head. Like I can sit and if I really know a movie well or like parts of a movie well, I can sit and remember and it's like watching a TV screen in my brain.
Same. But like it's triggered by
songs?
Especially music. By songs, certain smells, but like I am not super into that sense, unfortunately. So it doesn't trigger me as much. Like certain perfumes and certain colognes trigger me to people. You know what it is? I think I'm such a people person that like it's all connected to people. Like, because even my music, like, it's almost like, first of all, I am the protagonist of my life, okay? I am 100% that person that romanticizes the fuck out of my life. And I think that everyone should, because guess what? You
only get one of it.
It's you
so
and you.
Far.
Yeah. But I think that it's almost like theme songs to certain situations and
main character energy.
Yes, to certain situations and like periods of my life. Like there's certain songs that always is like when my dad died, or there's certain songs where like it's always like the first time I felt like puppy love and shit like that, you know, like
yeah,
it's like a theme song for that situation, relationship, or period of time in my life.
Yeah, and it triggers that emotion too, because like with on like when you said certain songs like remind you of your dad's death. Yeah. There are certain songs like when my brother died that there's like 2 or 3 songs. When You Cry, I Cry. Michael Bublé, I Wanna Go Home. Those 2 songs. Yeah, no, those songs. I don't care where I am, wherever I am. I associate those songs so strongly with the time when my brother died that whenever I listen to them, whenever I hear them, like that, like my emotions just kind of bubble up inside of me, and I feel. Not always do I feel sad. Sometimes I go through that feeling of grieving because you never really stop grieving someone. No. You have periods where you remember that grief, and then you have periods where you're okay with it, but.
It's easier, but it never ends.
Yeah, but sometimes I listen to those songs and it triggers just those memories of him. And it gives me, although some of them are sad, it gives me such a good feeling because I still remember those moments. And it's like so beautiful to me. But on the topic of smell, I'm one of those people that I am attracted to people through my sense.
That's
so I know how attracted I am to a person by, oddly enough, the way their breath smells to me. If their breath, and I'm not like minty or sweet, their natural breath. Yeah. If there's something in someone's like natural breath that just attracts me, like I could smell the inside of their mouth all day long, I know I am 100% attracted.
You know why this is wild? Because I saw a TikTok like 2-3 days ago that was talking about how if you wake, let's say you live with your partner, okay? And if you wake up in the morning and you roll to their side and their morning breath just like repulses you, like you just like can't stand it, like that's your time to leave the fuck out. Like that's what that girl was saying. That's when she knew when to break up with someone, and like everybody in the comments was like, oh, me too. And then you said that, I'm like, oh, what?
for real. If I don't like the way your breath smells, it really affects me. Like, it really affects my attraction to someone. But also, I know how in love I am by how if someone sweat, like
And
the
you
smell
like
of
it?
someone sweat just like turns you on. You're
Imagine
like,
being
ooh.
that in tune with your senses. Beautiful. To me, it's beautiful.
It lets me know if I at least
I think
find someone
hearing for
physically
me,
attractive.
like I am so aware. Like right now, I can hear the cars. I can hear the fucking. What is it called? The palm tree leaves, I think.
Yeah.
But because my brain is all over the place, it's whatever I'm tuning into, whatever I'm specific about, right? Like,
yeah.
Like sometimes people are talking to me, they could be right next to me, I'm not hearing them.
You zone out of them.
I'm like I'm in another place. It's not personal. Don't take it personal if I've ever done that to you, please.
It's not that you weren't interesting. I just had better focus on something else.
Well, sometimes that's the problem. That most of the time it's not that it's better. It's just like, sound quickly turns into noise, right? So,
like
I
white
think I've
noise,
always
gray
been very in
noise.
tune with like energies and like vibrations, even though I didn't want to like really go into that when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
But like sound is a vibration, which is a sort, right? It's a sound wave. So I think that I've just like I've sat here with Vale where he really doesn't listen. Like it's like he tunes out the city. But that is never turned off for me. Like it gets part of my day. Like it's normal because I'm always in this
becomes
porch.
that white noise.
Yeah, but it's almost like an energy. Like when I live by close to I-4, and who doesn't know I-4? It gets horrible, freaking horrible. And when it's a traffic jam, I feel, and call me crazy, I don't give a fuck. Like I can feel that energy. Like there's just a heaviness in the air.
Well, also, so the term where everybody says it's kind of overplayed, but I think it's also because people get they separate the idea, but like vibes, right? That is short term for vibrations, meaning all of us vibrate at a certain frequency, right? Like music vibrates at a certain frequency. We all vibrate at a certain frequency. Items, I believe, vibrate at certain frequencies, right? So what your body can pick up, even if it's to say like a bunch of people, right? Like some people get a social anxiety, or they can just feel a cluster of people. Well, you're feeling every single person's like vibration, and that's a lot of vibrations. If not everybody is cohesive, if not everybody's under the same mentality on that, the difference between going to certain music concerts and other music concerts, listening to like the things that happen at certain concerts of artists besides the stuff that happens at different concerts, like EDC, that's a big festival, and you see a lot of people just shout out to Plura, those are what they follow. Peace, love, unity, respect, and responsibility. Those are things that create that vibration, that energy, of that group of
that
people.
Like free energy.
Exactly. And we are sensitive individuals. We are sensitive beings. Our body is made to connect to this earth, and everything on this earth has a vibration. So when you feel it, it just shows that you're connected to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're connected to it.
Like if you ever go into someone's house, or like, I don't know, even a store, and you just feel that heaviness, you feel
like a blanket on top of you.
Yeah, or like that uncomfortableness, or maybe your chest gets tight, or I don't know. Everybody, I feel like, experiences, like their body talks to them differently. But whatever it is that you experience, like listen to it. I think as when we're younger, not necessarily we're taught to ignore it, but we're not necessarily taught to listen to it and trust it. Like, so the older you get, like you're gonna save yourself from a lot of situations just if you listen to your body, because your body is more in tune to the frequencies and energies than you are because of your mindset, if that makes sense.
Pineal gland.
Yes. But
Pay attention to it.
that's all I have on that. What do you wanna bounce on?
Bounce
Yo,
on?
I love her name, guys, because like this is all I do.
It's
I
literally
just
just
have
bouncing.
random conversations with people, and like enlighten me. Like if I said anything in here, if you listen to this, and I said anything in here that you're like, that is scientifically incorrect, fucking send it to me, please. Like educate
Receipts.
me.
We need the receipts.
I love speaking to people who I envision or view as smarter than me, or just more knowledgeable in whatever it is that they are knowledgeable in. Like I think that Erica's very artistic, very like just like in tune with music, colors, art, words. Like you vocalize things so elegantly, and that really, when I met her, really caught my attention. Like my boyfriend Vale is very business, workaholic, just like business mind. Like there's not a time where this man is not watching something that's giving him information or ideas for something.
Building his knowledge.
And I admire that. My best friend is, wow, like I don't even know what she's good at. She's good at a lot of things. Yeah, she's good at a lot of things, but I enjoy having conversations with people who I view as, right? Because not everybody's going to view them the same way as I am, but that I view them as specialized in their thing, even if it's just like, let's say like a different culture. Like just tell me everything there is about. I had a friend that was from Morocco, and she really just changed my view on Islam. Like I, unfortunately, as many of us, had a very stereotypical views. And then I met her, and she was kind. She knew that I never meant any offense, but she corrected me. And I think that people are very scared to do that. So step out of your comfort zone, deal with it.
Yeah. No, definitely. I think they say it's like what the 5 people that you associate with and that are around you the most kind of tell you about like more so who you are.
Yeah.
So if the 5 people that you associate with are intelligent, go-getting individuals, that can kind of feed into maybe your own success of like how successful you will be. If you're around people who don't have much aspirations, who don't look for much in life, not saying that that's not okay.
Yeah, because everybody has their own definition of success.
Exactly. Right? Everyone, like I always say, you need small town people to fill a small town, and small towns matter, right? Mm-hmm. Not everybody is meant to be in every place. You are meant to be where you are meant to be, and you'll figure that out. And the people that are there are meant to be there too. Yep. But if you want to change who you are and change your viewpoint on life, if you want to step out of your comfort zones, you have to go ahead and and it's hard because a lot of people have that anxiety, but sometimes anxiety is just, and I know this from my experience, sometimes anxiety is just telling me that like I'm alive and I'm challenging myself. Like sometimes I really have to figure out, am I feeling this because it's genuinely a bad feeling and it's a warning, or am I feeling this because I'm really stepping out of what's comfortable for me? Yeah, and you don't, and being uncomfortable.
Growth comes from being uncomfortable.
It sure does. Like they tell you, like if you can thrive in adverse environments and situations, your understanding of yourself, your confidence will thrive because you've tested yourself through the fire. Like once you test yourself through fire and you push yourself, you can only be prepared for so many situations. And as prepared as you are doesn't necessarily mean you will always be successful. But if you take those moments where you are unprepared and you see yourself thrive and push through and come out on top, you will have such a higher confidence. You're already a winner. For 100%, even if you fail at it, you pushed yourself beyond a point that like you at least allowed yourself to see where you are as a person and what you're capable of.
And stop worrying about people's opinions, okay? Believe it or not, people are super self-involved, you know? You know how I know? Because you care about what they think about you because you're self-involved. Because I was guilty and I am sometimes guilty. But like most people are too concerned with their own world and their own situations and their own life experiences to be worried about what the fuck you're doing. Like just like stop worrying about it. That's a mindset that really helped me, right? Like I think that because I grew up in such a religious household and just many other things, like I cared what people thought about me, even though I fronted like I didn't care, right? Like I don't care, I cared, okay? But now, like, if you don't like what I do, like, don't watch it. If you don't want to be in my presence, don't be in my presence. Like, I am not water that everybody needs in their life. You know, I am my own spicy drink, and whoever is gonna be in that taste is gonna be in my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think that we just get so wrapped up in it. And we need, what you were saying earlier in music about emotions, like you need the sad and the good. Like you need the rainy days to appreciate the good days.
You need rain to make a rainbow.
Yeah.
You need the rain and the sunshine to make a rainbow.
All the cliches, like, listen, they are true. I'm sorry to break it to you.
They're rooted in some truth,
Yeah, no, 100%. The same way that just kidding always has a little bit of truth.
Yes.
So
that just is just to make it seem like it's less than it is.
Yeah.
So that I learned that from something about writing essays. And it said, "Oh, I was just when we phrase, oh, I was just calling," or that's to minimize. It's to minimize it. And oh, I was just kidding. That's to minimize the little bit of truth that was in there.
Words matter.
They do. But also, like when you're saying like don't care about what people think of you, realize that sometimes what people will say to you and think of you is honestly what they recognize in themselves. So if somebody has a really bad opinion about certain things about you, it could really be that they also have that same negative connotation towards themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Or they don't want to be like that because that's what they focus on. You focus on the things that, like they always say, like with pregnancies, right? The person that you hated during your pregnancy is who your child's gonna
look like.
Right? You know, the old wives' tales, right? So I think there's a lot of truth in that with like the things that you focus on or that people focus on that are negative about you are because their brain focuses on that specific thing within their own lives. So they see a part of them in you that they don't like in themselves. So that tells you, okay, if you think I'm a talker all the time, you must be afraid to speak your voice.
Speak your mind, yep.
Like you must have that insecurity.
And guess what, boo-boo? That's a you problem.
Not a me problem.
No.
I must be
but
my
100%.
voice.
Like if someone, let's say you're on the LGBTQ umbrella, and someone's being homophobic around you, like, bruh, don't waste your energy because they probably have a repressed sexuality. I'm not saying that like, if you're gay and they're being homophobic around you, they're gay, they might just have a repressed sexuality. But the chances that they do have a gay sexuality is high, okay?
Because the people that are very comfortable in their sexuality
don't care.
Have no problem.
Yeah.
Why? Because it doesn't affect them.
No.
They're comfortable who they are. If I walk in a room and I present how I present as just a person, and I love people just as people in general, but I know I do give off a more masculine presenting style, right? And I can tell some women that look at me a little differently, or some men that look at me a little differently. Like it's always interesting to see certain men that almost look upset at me, but also attracted to me at the same time. Like I know I confused you a little bit, right? Like these slacks, this ass, you're like, oh, I don't know. Like I want to be upset, but that's kind of nice. You know,
that's what I think about, but society told me not to.
Yeah, you know, like I have to find this specific like traditional thing attractive. Like no, what you find attractive is what you find attractive, and when you're comfortable with that, what other people find attractive does not affect you. I'm not gonna wake up and because you want to sleep with someone else, I'm not gonna have the effects of your orgasm. You're not gonna have the effects of mine. So why does it matter? I just gotta focus on mine.
Yeah.
You get yours,
it doesn't matter.
Mine.
So just like, but if you have those people in your life, just get away. Like I know it's hard, but people can only meet you where they are, and that is somebody that has not put in the work, is self-involved, but not in the right way, I guess. And that's not your responsibility. Your responsibility is not to change them, and you can only control how you feel. And like, if it upset you, allow yourself to be upset, but don't let because somebody said there's a shirt that you love, and somebody was like, oh, such a, I don't know, ugly shirt, right? Let's keep it simple. Don't make that be the reason you never wear that shirt again, because you were wearing it and you bought it because you liked it. So you are unique and you are yourself, and there's a lot of power in that. And authenticity and vulnerability are essential for happiness, essential for positive energies, in my opinion. Like, and just freedom, like true freedom, not the, not the, I don't know, the bullshit capitalism sells us.
I was literally just having that I think we've had a lot of conversations on vulnerability, and in my life, and that's how I know that that's something I'm definitely working on and figuring out and building, is my vulnerability and my relationship with shame. I think, and I'm gonna tie this to the music, I think, especially in today's society and the music that we're listening to now, I think people are getting, not to say that we haven't been vulnerable before, but I think people are getting more comfortable being a little vulnerable.
Yeah.
Like it's become more common language, right? So that's the music you're listening to, the people you're around. Like people will be like, oh, like that common word, sorry to trauma dump. But like people are becoming more comfortable expressing those feelings, expressing those emotions.
Be careful who you trauma dump.
Yeah, and
please.
always like, I like what you do, and like what we'll do with each other is like, are you in the space to receive this?
Yeah.
Like I have a lot.
You never
of
know what that
feelings.
person is going through. Like you think you're calling your friend to comfort you, but you don't know if they just, like, a fucking nuke exploded in their morning breakfast with their family. You don't know. So ask if you're going to disclose some heavy shit.
Yes. And it also lets them be in the proper headspace to
be able to
respond
help
to you properly. Yeah. You know, sometimes you just need someone to listen. Sometimes you need good advice.
Yeah.
But with music, I think a lot more music has become like the playlist that you were listening to on Spotify. That's like teen beats. Like teen beats or like popular teen music. Some of it I was like, wow, this is deep.
Guys, there was a song on there. It was called Narcissus. Okay. What? And like the lyric of it was like essentially what somebody that suffers narcissistic abuse is going through when they think, and like it was just like in the top songs in this super popular playlist of teens, which makes me feel relieved, right? Because we think of like most of our parents or people in that generation, they don't talk about that stuff. They minimize it, they downplay it, and like most of them are very unhappy and repressed, and not the rule, but unfortunately a lot of people in that time. So for us, it's so healing to talk about our emotions and just like really be vulnerable. I can't even imagine what it is to be a 16-year-old now and have music like that song, like Anti-Hero by Taylor Swift, by Me, My Mind and I by Selena Gomez, that truly just are real. Right?
Yeah.
Like, there's not a teenager that probably doesn't feel the way most of those songs write about. I mean, obviously not the narcissist. That one is very topic specific. But I think it's beautiful. I think that it's amazing to see that wave of awareness. And I blame it on COVID. Like, I think that the conversation started because of the internet, right? Mm-hmm. Like, the accessibility to information. But it wasn't until COVID happened worldwide that everybody in the world had to sit down and be with their freaking feelings and be with themselves, and maybe be in a household with people you don't like. You have to face yourself.
I'll say, I think the threshold of shame dropped because you were behind a screen. So you have the bots that are so comfortable being a bully, saying all these mean things, but you also have these people that, because they are not seeing people's reaction front on, that person maybe doesn't even really know them, they can say some heavy stuff in comments and really release some feelings, and there's at least one person, 2 people, 3 people that can connect to that or feed off of that or build onto that. So like the threshold, which allows us to be more vulnerable, is realizing that that threshold of shame has dropped from I need to be this type of person to be perceived by society, to be this kind of a person, to be seen as like a decent individual. I mean, we got kids on TikTok talking about I needed a grippy sock vacation. Like, you know, we have, before it was like,
too honest with my therapist.
Yeah, before in like the 50s and 60s, that was not, it wasn't wasn't talked about, oh, I have to go see a therapist.
No.
I have to go. That was like, oh, I had to take some time for myself to recollect. Like that wasn't talked about. That was a shame barrier that was thrown away. Like you just don't talk about it, right? Now it's like people are on the internet just saying like, oh, I am dealing with some heavy stuff. And there are people that can connect to it.
It's promoted in a way.
Almost in a negative way. Now we have,
Don't take it to the extreme.
yes, now we have it to where a lot of people are more comfortable kind of speaking about the lack of wanting to live. Like everybody is like, oh, you think I want to live till I'm 25? I barely want to live till tomorrow. Right? You know, and that I think is also the negative part of it, because everyone's able to express that, but you don't have a lot of people that are willing to say like, I get that mindset.
No, you get all that like, just kill yourself.
Yeah, like we'll do it together. Like, ooh, that's deep, that's heavy.
So
you have to be careful with that.
Tread carefully. Yeah.
Yes.
Tread carefully. Be very cautious. But even like to take it away from mental health, like even individualism. I think that COVID just really like people no longer wanted to be their 9-to-5 job that they hated, because that's all they had. They had no distractions, and they started doing things that made them happy, like pottery or whatever.
Crocheting, knitting.
I think my
rug making.
producer is telling me to cut it. I would cut it.
Shout out to crocheting.
Thank you.
Oh, your is
Done.
Oh, is mine still on? Oh, we're still good? Can I kind of share with her?
yes.
Would that be good?
Just get a little closer to her. And
I'm
then
gonna-
We'll do a little jump cut there.
We having
All right,
technical
cool.
difficulties.
We're gonna.
None of this is gonna be on.
It's all right.
But
even if it is, we make mistakes.
yeah,
This is not professional right now.
not professional, guys. First podcast.
Although our
Learning.
producer is very professional. Shout out to Kumo.
Shout out to Kumo.
15 minutes up.
Right? Hey, it was still good. Sorry if you're hearing all the. You get to get inside of my clothes today.
I'm dead. It's just a little thing that TikTokers be like holding like
Yeah.
this. That's so
Can
funny.
you hear us well if it's right
But it's
there?
wireless, but this
Oh.
one.
Can you hear us there?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Okay.
So, what do you want to say?
So continue.
Or do you want me to close it?
No, you can continue.
Okay, we're good. I think I'm on a
It's
good
4:30.
line.
So let's
We
do like
can-
10 more minutes.
Yeah, we can get.
Okay.
This is very long.
What was I
We
saying?
just talk.
Yeah.
We bouncing these thoughts. We started with music. We kept bringing it back to music, but I think
That's why it's called bouncing thoughts.
it is. But I think we kept bringing it back to music because that was like the music and the effects of the
It
body.
was all music inspired. But
Yes.
that's why I love our conversations, because it's never just one thing. It's really just like digging deeper and seeing not just the tree, but all the branches and leaves. Because it is all connected. But thank you for listening. I think that like this is cool. There's gonna be more coming. I have ideas. You know, this is the first podcast. I'll definitely structurize a little more and figure out
Maybe
the
you
right
guys
camera
like the
settings.
chaotic version of this.
Yeah.
Makes it feel real.
Yeah,
honest.
true.
I even did it. I didn't even powder my nose. I let all the sweat be there. I said
Authentic, real.
real.
Bad Bunny. So
Benito, baby.
we
I
were
love
like
you.
OG Bad Bunny, like, you know, we're Puerto Rican, so. But my point is that the Bad Bunny that we were, how it's connected to music and like the transitions of life. The Bad Bunny we started listening to, or that I started listening to, was like the Bad Bunny that sung like Soy Peor, and even those were already like newer songs.
like trap. It was like like
trap,
the-
and
like
it
a
was
trap.
about like hurting, fucking, like just like very underground. And I think that the time frame that I was going through, like
Gritty.
just like really okay, like on the nose. And as he's transitioned, he's commercialized. Then he had that like kind of heartbreak album, and again kind of like the transition in life that I feel like that exploded so much, because who in that time frame that album came out was close to COVID. It wasn't. Was it before or after COVID? Let me see.
There was also a time where a lot of people were breaking up because they realized that they didn't want to be stuck in a room.
Yeah, exactly.
For months. With
So
someone that they loved.
everybody could relate to that kind of music. 2018. It was before.
But
there was another album that the one that he came after, right after the Yo hago lo que me da la gana, right? That was COVID.
I think so. Yeah.
I'm gonna find these
Pause
time
for
frames.
research. Pause for research. We want to give you as much as we give you our feelings. We want to give you.
And let me tell you that the people that related to this album, A1. But like, please don't identify with this album.
Don't make it your whole personality.
Please. 2020. Okay, that one's the one that came out in COVID. I just think it's like think about it. You don't want to admit that it's deeper than it is, but it is. Okay? His transition, if you're around the same time period, everybody in their 20s kind of goes to similar experiences. Everybody in their teens kind of goes into similar experiences, so on and so on per decade. So
I think that also gives to I'll say for me, I appreciate the authenticity of artists. And I was actually still having this conversation with someone else just the other night, where I was talking about literally Bad Bunny and how they were a diehard fan of his when he was like underground, like not many people knew his music, and they were a little like they wanted to be selfish because they identified with that artist so much. They wanted to be selfish, and when he really started being more popularized,
they were like angry about it.
Yeah, they like didn't like him as much. But I switched it to this point of view where I said, I appreciate the authenticity of artists, and I also appreciate the fact that although I want to associate so much with an artist in their first beginnings, when their music is like on SoundCloud or like very underground, where they're not making much money from it, I appreciate when they start really becoming a big fan, because it makes me feel like, wow, a community has been built off of this person's music. They have people that associate with them, and those are people that's conversations I can build. As great as it is turning people on to new music, it's as wonderful being able to communicate to someone who loves that music just as much as you do.
It's
right?
a whole different
frequency
of connection.
It is. You can say you have. Not only are you like, oh, I love this song, I love this song, I love this song, and showing them those songs, but they already have
like, let me add it to my playlist.
You're like, no, I love this song.
Yeah,
and
you driving together in the car, all of a sudden the song comes on, and you're both like
you're singing it with your heart out. Like, I appreciate even when artists get to be a little, maybe their music no longer is for me, but they found a different support group that love their music, and I can respect the fact that maybe I just grew out of it. Maybe I grew out of them, and that's okay. Yeah. Other people are finding them and making them successful. Yeah. I can move on to different music, other music, without kind of like hating it or being upset about it. I can see the beauty in the fact that, wow, that person, I can see them as an individual. That person spent so long not making a living off of it, and now they have a plethora of income from doing what they love and what they want to do. I may not identify with anymore, but I can appreciate seeing that. It's
like a creation of discourse of a community, like you said, and how it's also individualized, which moving here from Puerto Rico, I really do appreciate it. Even though in Puerto Rico you still see this stuff, but in the United States, I feel like you really see niche communities, like the Dungeons and Dragons people. My boyfriend is definitely part of the Nintendo and retro games community.
Zelda guy.
And let me tell you, okay, that's a whole nother podcast. But the people that are really into soccer, the people that are into running, you'll find they're on Facebook and they're like, hey, this day I'm in Utah, do you want to go? Who's gonna come running with me? And you'll find people to go running with you, and I think that's beautiful. I think it's everybody that comes into your life is for a reason, and searching for people that are in your same pathway and your same interests and your same belief system is important, but it's empowering most importantly. And step out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Step out of your comfort zone.
And to go in that, which is something I told you a very long time ago, which still rings true to me till this day, which is like with music, right? Like everyone comes into your life for a reason, a rhyme, or a season, right? So you may connect with people for a certain amount of time. You may connect with an artist for a certain amount of time. You may connect with a certain group of people or a certain niche for a certain amount of time that you need it. And when it's no longer fulfilling you, when it's no longer feeding you the proper way,
be able to
let go, because it is a good thing that you are letting go. You have to allow yourself that opportunity to grieve that separation of self and what you were so connected to, or the people that you were connected to, but also understand that like that means you are moving on to something else. Life is not about you being here in regards to there. It's about you being here and here and here and here. You have to recognize, okay, I connected to this when I needed to connect to this, or this person when I needed to connect to this person, and now I can move on and connect to other people without having a negative connotation to them. No. You can appreciate that person as the individual and what they did for you. Yeah. Like what they really did for you. There's some people that I was friends with that maybe our friendship was as small.
In that season, were so important.
So important. And now when I think about it, maybe I understand that it was a very like minuscule connection to them. But at that time, I needed that kind of a connection. It may have not been as important, but it was important enough for me to appreciate it. Yep. And I don't associate with them or talk to them or have any connection to them now. But man, when I see them winning, I'm like, I congratulate you.
Yes, and that's growth. Being able to be happy for someone in that way, under those, like, right, that context. You no longer interact with them, have a friendship, relationship, whatever it may be, even if it's like a toxic family member that you no longer talk to, or I don't know, an ex-partner that you really actually had a good experience with, regardless of it ended or not, or a friend that could have been your best friend from this year to this year and no longer is. Like, they served a purpose in your life and you served a purpose in their life. And if they're meant to be in your life, eventually they will be, but don't be concerned about that. Be concerned about the today, the now, and appreciate and be grateful and be positive, because what you put out into the world, like, I feel like the people that be like they see someone that they don't fuck with anymore and they like make like the trolls that make profiles to just comment negative stuff on people, and like, man, you think you're really hurting the other person? Nah, you full of hate and you're full of negative emotions. Yeah. And that only affects you, and you're only hurting yourself, and
I live in your mind rent free. Yeah. And you need to keep
like, you're hurting that person momentarily, but you're hurting yourself deeply and like in a significant way.
You're affecting your brain. Yeah. You're affecting the way your brain thinks, because you're only focusing on some negative.
Yeah. So be happy for people. What is a song? Kill them with kindness.
Yeah. Or also just like, I always feel like that the term, if you really love someone, let them go. I genuinely resonate with that, because if I really love you as a person and I'm not offering anything to you, I'm not feeding you the proper way, and you don't need to, and you can't be around me, or you don't want to be around me, I understand that, because like if I really appreciate you as an individual, I will want you to be as successful as you need to be in the way that you need to be in, right? And I would only appreciate the same thing back. You know, like some people are like, oh, like Brent Files, if you ain't with me, I don't wish you well. That comes back on you. That's too. Immature. That comes back on you too. Like, if you're not with me, I hope you're doing well. I hope that if we're no longer friends or something, like, you gain so much knowledge and so much appreciation for yourself off of my friendship that you are able to go be friends with someone else. I think that's amazing and it's beautiful, and I appreciate that. I won't ever be upset at someone, even through breakups, any type of way. I won't ever be upset at someone for having to walk away.
Emotional maturity, though. You know, true. Like, unfortunately, emotional maturity is not something that's talked about, and it's so important, and it only comes with its self-reflection. You know, like, you're not able to look back and appreciate people that you, let's say, hurt you or did you wrong without having self-reflection and really looking at all the sides of the situation. You know, like, And when you do that is when you're able to look back and be glad for someone, or just, oh, that's so cool. Sorry.
I don't know if that's on camera, but paid actors. We paid them to do that.
Yeah.
They will now do a trick.
Yo, and it even applies to grief, right? Like, that's why, you know, whatever the stages are of grief that you have to go to, but eventually letting go, right? Like,
Acceptance.
and energy is like, if you really want that person to be like in peace, like, you need to let go.
If you want to be at peace, you have to let go.
Yeah. So,
Listen to your music. Feel your feelings.
yes. And
Take it with a grain of salt.
come by next time to listen to Bouncing Thoughts.
Where we will talk about another topic that will go all around the world in 180 minutes.
Oh my God, this gave me Garrett and Andrew vibes. If you guys know who Garrett Watts and Andrew, I don't know how to say his last name, Sawiski, something like that. This is inspired by them. Okay.
Peace to you.